Today we are diving into the best warband to start with in Mordheim, the Undeads. Whether you are just starting out or looking to dominate the streets of Mordheim, I am going to show you why this warband is the most powerful choice for newcomers. And maybe also for experienced players. Well, that is of course based on my opinion. In this video, I'll walk you through each character in the Undead warband we are going to use, their gear and how they work together on the battlefield. By the end, you'll know why this warband is not only hard to beat, but also a perfect starting point for new players. The Undead warband is a unique and resilient faction. They are hard to kill with a mix of tanky characters, fast attackers, and a zombie horde that works as a meat wall to protect your units. This makes them a great choice for new players. Your units can take a beating and keep going. And we have to remember that the most of this warband causes fear to many of your enemies. And fear is a bad thing if you are caught by it, because it makes it harder to hit your opponent. This warband is built out of 500 gold crowns, which is the regular spending you use to assemble a group. I have put the gold cost for each unit and gear beside their name. The strategy behind the Undead warband I am building today is all about absorbing hits, controlling the battlefield, and then delivering the crunching counterattacks. With the Vampire leading your team and the Necromancer offering magical support, and a lot of henchmen, you can dominate most scenarios. But before we dive into which gens and Undead we are going for, it would really help me if you consider subscribing and giving this video a like if you find this content interesting. Let's start with the star of the warband, the Vampire. This guy is an absolute powerhouse. With a high movement speed and strong stats, he is your main damage dealer and the toughest character in your warband. His starting stats are movement 6, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 2, initiative 5, attack 2 and leadership 8. And I have equipped my vampire with a sword, a mace and a bow, and a light armor. The sword is a great all-round weapon with a parry ability, while the mace gives him an extra punch in close combat. The bow allows him to take out foes in a distance. The light armor gives him protection without slowing him down. You want your vampire to stay mobile. Use his speed to get into combat quickly or charge vulnerable units. He's also tough to wound, so don't be afraid to send him into the thick of the battle. And with a dire wolf close by, who we will come back to later, you got a deadly duo ready to strike. Next up is the Necromancer. He is not as strong in combat as the vampire, but he makes up for it with his magic if you get a good roll. His main role is to support your team and offer ranged attacks. His starting stats are movement 4, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 3, attack 1, leadership 7. Whew! Yeah, that was right. I have equipped my Necromancer with a club, a dagger and a short bow. The club gives him a bit of a protection in close combat, while the short bow allows him to stay back and offer some range support. And remember, the first dagger every unit gets is free of charge. You want to keep your Necromancer out of the front lines. Use him to cast spells that can weaken your opponents or buff your own units. His short bow lets him chip away at enemies from a distance, while your vampire, zombies and ghouls do the heavy lifting. Now let's talk about the Dregs. You get 3 of these guys, and while they are weaker than your vampire or a Necromancer, they are versatile and can be equipped in various ways. Their starting stats are movement 4, weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1 and initiative 3, and attack 1 and leadership 7. I equipped my Dregs as follows. One has a sword, a shield and a short bow. Another has an axe, short bow and a dagger, and a third has a club, short bow and a dagger. These guys are great for ranged support and holding objectives. Your Dregs aren't your frontline fighters, but they are tough enough to hold their ground. Use them to shoot at enemies from distance, and when the time is right, send them into combat. Their mix of gear lets them adapt to different situations, which makes them great for holding key points on the battlefield. Next we have 2 Ghouls. These guys are savage and can dish out some serious damage in close combat. Their starting stats are Movement 4, Weapon Skill 2, Ballistic Skill 2, Strength 3, Toughness 4, Wounds 1, Initiative 3, Attack 2, Leadership 5. Ghouls can't use weapon or armor, but don't let that fool you. They are fast enough, strong, and can tear through enemies with their 2 attacks if they get close enough. Use your ghouls to rush into combat after your zombies have engaged the enemy. They'll finish off weakened units and can cause real problems for your opponent. They don't have armor, so keep them out of heavy fire until the right moment. Now, let's talk about the backbone of your warband, the zombies. You get 5 of them in this setup. They are cheap, slow and not great fighters, but that's not their role. They are here to absorb damage. Your zombies will form a meat wall, protecting your more vulnerable units. They are slow and not the best in combat, but they are there to tie up your enemies and keep them occupied. You want to use your zombies as shields. Send them in first to soak up damage, while your vampire and ghouls move in for the kill. And even if they go down and are killed, they are really cheap to replace. Finally, we have the dire wolf. This doggy is fast, and paired with the vampire, he can move quickly across the board and hit hard when he charges. His starting stats are Movement 9, Weapon Skill 3, Ballistic Skill 0, Strength 4, Toughness 3, Wounds 1, Initiative 2, Attack 1 and Leadership 4. The dire wolf is perfect for flanking your enemy and catching them off guard. Use his speed to your advantage and keep him close to the vampire for support. The dire wolf's speed makes him a great tool for hitting enemy units that are trying to escape or hold objectives. Paired with the vampire, they are a deadly combo that can turn the tide of the battle. And remember, this here is important. Always let your wolf charge, since he gets 2 attacks on every successful charge. So, why is the Undead Warband the best starter warband in my opinion? With 13 miniatures, you get a numbers on your side. You can lose a few units before you need to take a route test, and your zombies are cheap to replace. The vampire is a powerhouse, and your necromancer gives you magical support. Plus, the mobility of the dire wolf gives you a big advantage on the battlefield. The key winning with this warband is using your zombies as a shield, while your vampire, ghouls and dire wolf clean up in combat. And your necromancer and dregs take objectives if there are any in the scenario you have rolled for. Else, you use them as backup for either the vampire and the dire wolf, or for the ghouls. The warband's resilience and ability to replace units makes it perfect for new players learning the game. And there you have it, the Undead Warband, the best choice for starting out in Mordheim. With a combination of brute force, mobility and a reliable meat wall, this warband will give you the edge in any battle. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree that the Undead Warband is the best starter? Or do you maybe have another warband in your mind? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Mordheim tips and battles. Keep your blades sharp, your dice rolling, and may your warbands always find victory. Thomas, signing out.